Yeah, how's everybody doing? Doing all right? All right, appreciate everybody being here today. Certainly, signing day and this being a new type of signing day is always exciting for any program, but certainly a really, real productive day for us. Being able to act 13 real and what we feel are impactful players, student athletes for our program. 6 of them on offense, 7 on defense. I'll probably wait for questions to go into specifics on each one, but it was important, during this time to make sure that our staff, and I want to thank the staff first and foremost, because during the time of the last week and a half leading into the signing day, it was a contact period, and we were over in Las Vegas preparing for the bowl game itself. So we lost a week of contact along the way, but yet the relationships that were built and that were maintained and strengthened throughout the process allowed us to sign a really good class, and we feel it's just kind of the halfway point for us. There is more to come in the near future, but we certainly increased our size and power up front, both on the offense and defensive side of the ball, increased our ability to make explosive plays in the backfield with 2 really good running backs that we feel are game changers. Signed the number 5 quarterback in the country. Looks a lot like the guy that plays for us here right now, so the similarities are striking, so we're really excited about him as well. And our front 7, our 2 defensive line additions and our 2 linebackers are not only guys that are big, long, athletic, rangy guys. These are guys that we call it big speed guys, the big skill guys. A couple linebackers that are track athletes as well that run sub 1,100-meter dashes, and coupled that with a couple of guys in the secondary that provide length, athleticism, range, and great tacklers, great playmakers. So really excited, really happy about the results. And again, I want to reiterate the fact that this is it's kind of the halfway point, even though there's a couple days left in this little signing period and things can still happen. We're optimistic that they will. It's a halfway point and lots of work to do, but a pretty good start.
Questions? Right up here in the front, AJ, on the right.
Coach, what areas of need do you think you addressed really well today, and what's left for the rest of the class of 2018?
Well, I think the offensive line was addressed well. Three signees today, all of them within the 6'5.5", 6'6" to 6'7.5" range, all within 295 to 335 pounds. Very powerful, athletic guys. You look at some of the signees and going through them, guys like, local right here, Dawson Jaramillo, is going to be playing in the Under Armour game, and I believe the Polynesian Bowl as well. Just the ultimate athlete for an offensive lineman, could play all 5 positions, has been stellar at tackle, really smart, athletic, aggressive. Stephen Jones in California, one of the top players in the country as well, has played tackle. Really, and the kind of neat thing about these guys, they are large men, but they're mostly just guys that turned 17 just recently. I mean, their growth spurts are still ahead of them. So Stephen Jones, again, a big, powerful guy, athletic, strong, game changer at the line of scrimmage. Chris Rendazzo, I mean, I could go on and on about these guys. They're game changers. They make it different up front, and certainly we want to win in the trenches. But that was addressed. The quarterback position, which is always critical. We found the guy that, in our opinion, is a game-changer, franchise-type quarterback. The running back position was addressed as well, the departure of Royce and Kanai. At defensive line, being able to sign, the big guy, Sione, that's a big bonus for us because the way we play defense, length and power is important at the 5 technique, the 4-eye. And we get that from him, a guy that certainly was he was a defensive player of the year in that league. So that and the addition of the 2 linebackers, 2 linebackers, I'm sorry. I keep forgetting MJ plays so many positions. He was one of the best athletes in the country at any position. But and you look at Adrian being the number 1 player in the state of Colorado, a guy that ran 10,900 meters. It changes your defense. Coach Levitt, I know, was extremely excited about that. He did a wonderful job recruiting that young man. And Javon and Steven, guys that have been with us since the beginning. I mean, these guys, they're like Oregon employees. The way they worked the recruiting trail since the moment they were committed. Tremendous personalities. I think you'll enjoy these guys a bunch. They'll be front and center. They'll be looking for you guys instead of you having to request interviews with them. And just you forget, because they've been with us so long, you forget how good they are as football players and just as good as people. And yesterday, or today, I should say, the addition of Hockey Woods, who's a junior college All-American. Hard to find a 6'3" corner anywhere in college football, the NFL even, and he's there as well. And I don't want to miss making a comment on anybody because, I mean, Travis Dye, and we know what those bloodlines are like, right? We've seen it, front and center here in Autzen Stadium, and his yardage this year, his yards per carry is just blows you away. And not to mention Jamal Elliott, who was a lifelong Duck fan, be able to go in the Carolinas and get him out this way, certainly a great accomplishment. But the credit goes to the coaches. I mean, those guys really established great relationships and maintained them, through some change and some adversity. And that's what recruiting is all about,
Speaking with the offensive line, traditionally we've seen guys sign here that are 250, 260. These guys are well above that. Is that something that you prioritized or made an effort to get guys way bigger than traditionally they've signed here?
Well, if they're a good player, they're a good player. I don't put a weight limit on a guy. Obviously, the roots and where I come from and the emphasis that's placed at the line of scrimmage. And those offensive lines have traditionally been ones that have certain metrics. They have certain body types to be able to take over football games in the fourth quarter later on in the season. And yeah, it's for me, traditionally, it has been, massive human beings that can move. You don't want to compromise any athleticism for size. So I think we've got a really nice combination there. Hungry guys, athletic, because if they're really big, you want to make sure that they're hungry and they're athletic. If they're really big, they don't want to move much. Well, the laws of inertia take over, and it's a hard deal. So these guys are certainly tremendous additions to our football team.
On the right, Ryan.
Mario, is it safe to say that you won a huge recruit in keeping Jim Leavitt? And can you just speak to how the guys you've been able to re-sign, your coaching staff, have helped you get, through this quick turnaround to recruiting?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Jim's definitely one of those 5-star guys that you want on your staff and on your roster. Him and Marcus and Joe. I mean, it's kind of have a neat thing around here where we work with each other. We don't see each other any differently than just colleagues and brothers. And being able to work with them for this past year, seeing the progress that has been made defensively as a team, the defensive line, the quarterback, and the other guys as well. We're real optimistic that this staff is going to be intact for the most part. That it's a great feeling, and I think it's great for the players. Continuity. These guys are going home. They want to come back and jump into the offseason with the faces and the structure that they know. So pretty exciting time for us, and yes, it's a huge thing for us.
Second row middle, Jerry.
Yeah, Coach, how many players do you anticipate on this list coming in early, playing in the spring, and specifically with Elliott playing just 3 games and Cunningham not playing his senior year? How are they doing as far as recuperation from injuries?
They've done really well. As you mentioned, they had injuries that kind of compromised their production as seniors. As juniors, they were stellar athletes, and even before that, proved to have really good durability. Didn't have many issues. So we think that we'll have anywhere between 5, maybe 6 mid-year enrollees, hopefully, and that kind of puts us at our number. In college, your salary cap is your 85 that you have to manage with your 25 allowable every signing period, plus the ones you can count back. So that's something that you had to take a calculus course, earlier this year to get all straightened out. So, but we feel good. We'll feel that we're going to be at 85 scholarships this year. We probably operated at anywhere between 75 and 77 last year, in terms of just trying to get the roster back to where it needs to be. And that's I know it doesn't sound like much from an addition subtraction standpoint. That's a large number when it comes to football. And I thought the players did a great job managing that and compensating for not having the numbers that you used to having or should have, and don't see that being a problem going forward.
Oh, Matt.
You mentioned the disadvantages of the early signing period for this program this year, but do you feel like you have a better sense now of what things you need to accomplish for the next signing period after today?
A little bit. I think the unknown was something like what we got hit with. We had a bowl game right in the midst of a signing period. And we ought to have like a day, no, maybe not a day, a week where you guys travel with us during the contact week. I mean, it is something else. You know, you're the last flight in, you're the first flight out. You're ripping through cities and towns and homes, making sure that you put your best foot forward to represent your program. You know, it's the great thing about the way that things are structured. It allows you to work harder, or outwork your competition if you are allowed to, if you're not restricted by times or stuff or bowl games or something of that nature. So, I'm sure the NCAA will take a look at everything, and I think we have already kind of learned a lot from it, and more to kind of sit back and assess and realize that, hey, because you don't know how the season will end and what bowls or what determines your bowl fate, you might want to arrange for your official visits during certain times of the year. Maybe get people here on campus during the season. Maybe wait till the January period. It's a lot to figure out, but if you have the answers, you're more than welcome to help me out on that stuff, man. It's going to take a little bit.